Hey, listener. So we don't have a cold open this week because somehow we got through an entire recording without Gavin or me or our guest fucking up. So I don't really know how to start the show other than to please, will you share the show? Will you share the show with your friend? Will you share the show with your work colleague? Will you talk about it in your gay dad groups? Will you post about it and on the online forums? We are at a point here at Gaytriarchs where we need to grow. We need to grow our bank accounts. We need to grow our wallets. We need to grow our attitudes. But really, we'd love to grow the show. We know a lot of people love the show, and we would really love to get it to more people. So if you have some time, if you have a favorite episode that you love, if you have a favorite meme or whatever that we've posted, please, will you post online, post on Instagram, post on Facebook, wherever you like to post things. Tag us, let us know that you love us, and share the show. Thank you so much. We love you, our one and only listener. And this is Gaytriarchs.
So, David, I don't know if you know, but I was in Spain a few weeks ago, and now we're definitely reaching levels of, I'm just bragging now, but I'm bringing up some old stories from it, okay? Like I said, I wouldn't do it all at once. So because we were there for a soccer trip, we toured the Barcelona soccer stadium, which was like, okay, whatever. It's big and interesting, blah, blah, blah. But there was this woman there with her daughter who was so excited to be doing all the soccery stuff. And I passed by them on our tour, and I passed by them here, there, and the other. And then she was taking a picture of her daughter in front of some sign of some, hot soccer player. And I stepped in and I said, hey, would you like me to take a picture of the two of you? And she goes, oh no, my daughter definitely does not want me in this picture. Mm-hmm. And that was such a universal, before she even got the words out, she had that universal look on her face like, do you really think my daughter wants me in this picture? And I just thought that was absolutely hilarious to know that, that's a universal thing of teenagers not wanting to be associated with their parents because we are embarrassing.
I'm not ready for it because I just saw before you said that, before we jumped on to record, a TikTok that was saying like, wasn't it called the golden era, but it was basically something like 2 to 5 is the only time your kid is like, you're their world. You can fix every problem.
You and that algorithm.
Yes. You can fix every problem. If they're crying to you, what you can do something and it's immediately fixed. And then after that, after they go to school, their world grows outside of you and then their problems are outside of you. And you can just kind of be I'm not ready for that because I like fixing things, Gavin.
Yeah.
And I want to be in the photo in front of the Barcelona stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you won't be someday.
No, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to be the parent who figures out how to be best friends with their teen.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see how that happens.
We're going to still be doing the stupid show then, you know that, right? 10 years later. Speaking of stupid delusions, it's not something great, but I just need somebody to tell me what to do. Mm-hmm. Do I continue to fight my daughter at bedtime every single fucking night over teeth, over put on your PJs, over no more leaving your room, over you have enough water, you don't need to pee again? All the fighting that happens every single fucking night. Should I, keep fighting, keep holding strong, keep telling her, no, we have rules and this is when bedtime is and blah, 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 blah. Or do I make my life easier and I just say, do whatever you want to do. Go to bed in your fucking wedding dress, eat sugar in bed at 3 a.m. I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of arguing. What do I do?
This is not technically a what would you do.
It's not a what would you do, but I do just need you to tell me what to do.
I mean, so often when I am going head to head with both of my children, I feel like I am training a horse. Like, when the term of like actually breaking the back of this horse to bend to your will. Mm-hmm. And I have a couple of times said to my kids, trust me, I'm more stubborn than you are. But so often then you think, never mind, you've broken me. There was a time on our trip that I said to my daughter, fine, you win. Congratulations, you win. And it was steeped in so much guilt for the way she had broken us down. And then I was such a child. I was such a child. Anyway.
The The reason we all do it is because we think if I set a clear boundary and I'm consistent and I give them really, really, really strong discipline, it will eventually absorb into them and they will become more disciplined, or they will become better sleepers, or they will become better listeners, or they will become better adults. And I don't know if that's true.
Right. Is this the hill to die on? Maybe it's not. I mean, when we were in Spain, go ahead, you can start tallying every single time I say that.
Jesus, you're like every American who goes to Europe and you're like, I should live here. Oh my God, they live so much better in Spain. Have you had tapas here?
They live at such a different rhythm, right? I mean, supposedly it's nothing but nobody starts dinner until 10 p.m. And the whole time I just thought, how do you have babies in Spain? When we're so obsessed. We're so obsessed with sleep patterns and whatnot. Maybe they don't give a fuck. You're exactly right.
And maybe that's the secret. Maybe my at 7:45 we go to bed no matter what. In my mind is like, this is a gift I'm giving them.
Do you ever experiment with just letting her go to bed in a wedding dress with a bowl of sugar at what time she wants to and just see what happens?
No, I haven't. And maybe I should. But I mean, there are days when like I just let, like when we're out, like we had some friends over for 4th of July and we stayed up super late and we went across the street and watched fireworks and ate candy and whatever. And they didn't get to bed till like 9:45 or 10 when their bedtime is usually 7:45. So I did that. It didn't change anything. And my son was still up at 5:45,
right,
drawing with permanent marker on his dresser drawers, which are from the 1960s, by the way.
So they're vintage.
They're vintage. Anyway, so you have no answer for me. You're basically like,
wait. A couple of other things, though, is one, what about that reverse psychology from last week about being able to say to her, Hannah, you know what I love about you is the way you go to bed so easily because you just you can't use reverse psychology.
I told you, Gavin, I cannot make my mouth muscles create the embouchure needed to say a bold-faced lie like that to my children. I believe it could work. I am not spiritually or mentally, or I'm just not prepared for it right now.
Well, then finally, my thought is, and this is my stubborn ass approach to parenting also, is that I'm going to win because this is all about me. And I do feel like parenting is just constant education. And that's the thing is good kids come from discipline, I do think. And I don't mean beating the child with discipline, but like instilling that. I think that you got to stick with it for a little while. Okay. And one day, when I'm talking about how my 30-year-old children are already out of the house and you're, I don't know, I guess yours kids would be up there pretty much too. But point being, you'll forget about this. You'll forget about it. But right now,
and then I'll tell parents who have young kids, I'll be like, it goes by so fast. Cherish every moment. Cherish every moment. And I'm going to throw up in my mouth.
Yep. Well, speaking of Spain.
Jesus Christ. Did you hear the tally? I need to do a tally sound. Bing.
I did think about parenting the entire time there, especially because when we were thinking about delayed gratification, and here is just a parenting thing as well, was where I was a complete control freak, and the kids. Some days I would actually have a yes day of like every single time you want ice cream, I'm going to say yes today, fully knowing that they would only be out of the car like twice because we were driving so much. But, it was a yes day. And ultimately it wasn't that big a deal, right? Like these are the things that I hold them hostage to, is me being the control freak. But at the same time, I knew that they needed to I wanted them, a lot of me in this, I wanted them to get the full benefits and education and experience of doing these trips and being in these medieval towns. And so I would have to say like, no, we're not going to do X until we do Y. You have to eat your broccoli before you have your gelato. And in this case, the broccoli was walking around a town that was 100 degrees and all stone, just radiating more heat. But eventually my son said, stop being a control freak. And I'm like, you know what? In this case, I am going to be a control freak because I am paying for this trip. We are in a medieval land. You need to absorb this and learn from it and just absorb this history that's around you. And you're going to experience some culture before you get to just sit on your phone and eat gelato.
What you're basically saying is exactly what I'm saying, which is you're banking on the fact that them getting this extra medieval town time is going to net better results than the gelato instead. It's the exact same conversation I'm having. And what we need to know, and we don't know, is does that actually matter? Because if it doesn't matter, you would just let them have gelato and say, who cares about the medieval town? Right?
Also, we wouldn't go to Spain. We wouldn't be doing trips like this, and you can stay in your own backyard.
You'd go to Detroit.
Right. Because it's way cheaper.
Who cares?
Yep. That's
Detroit's new motto. Detroit. Who cares?
Because who cares? I mean, all they want is a home with suites with a pool. Anyway, I mean, that's,
so
at one point,
do we just give that to them?
I know. We were staying in medieval castles, which were amazingly only 125 euros a night, which was astounding. And then my son goes, "Can we just stay in a regular hotel?" And what he means by a regular hotel is definitely a home with suites,
embassy suite
with a pool. That's all he wants.
Which is I would fight exactly the same. No, I would do the same thing. I'd be like, we're in fucking Europe. You're going to live in a castle. Do you understand? But then at the same time, like, if this doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Okay. Right. So we've helped nobody. We haven't helped ourselves. We haven't helped listener. Who cares? But I can help listener with my dad hack of the week.
No way.
It's the best hack I've had in quite a while. And I'm here to tell you that it works with both of my kids. And I've been doing it for about 4 weeks. Okay. So every day for 4 weeks. I put sunscreen on my kids every day before school. They are very, very white children, and they play outside a lot at their various schools and camps. So we have to put sunscreen on them. And I use spray sunscreen. Well, they fucking hate it. They hate it. They hate it. They hate it. And they especially hate it on their face. And so then I've been using cream on their face, but wiping terrible. It's just awful all around, and it's always a fight. Well, my brilliant husband saw a TikTok, of course, the source of all good things. And it's called sunscreen spoons. And here's what it is. You give them 2 spoons and they hold each spoon over their eyes like little tanning booth goggles. And then you can spray their face. And for whatever reason, you're really not, it's the same as them closing their eyes. But for whatever reason, them having their sunscreen spoons, they don't fight me at all ever for sunscreen anymore. Now the little one still is always like, ew, it's in my mouth, and then I have to let her wipe her mouth on my shirt. But other than that, it's great.
It's probably because she needed to go to bed later, and she literally got too much sleep.
She needed gelato at 4:45 a.m. in a medieval castle. But so
sunscreen spoons.
Sunscreen spoons, everyone out there. If you have kids who you are sunscreening and you're using spray and you don't want to do the cream in the face, sunscreen spoons.
That is very good hack news right there. And speaking of news, I do have some good news to share with you, despite the world is on fire and there is no good news out there, right? But this is actually a week old now. Now probably 2 weeks as the time of this airing. But did you know, David, that the Trump administration caved again? Taco, right? What is it?
Trump always
chickens out.
Yeah.
They chickened out. And this time, it was because they couldn't deal with the parents of the trans kids. Because you want to fuck with somebody.
Don't fuck with a parent of a trans kid.
It's the gays and the gay parents and the parents of trans kids.
It's the gays, and then it's black women, and then it's parents of trans kids. That's the levels of you don't want to fuck with. Yeah.
I think 1 and 2 are probably interchangeable there.
Yeah.
But in the so just recently, the Trump administration, you might have known about a year ago, the Housing and HHS and RFK Jr. made this edict that there could be no Medicare or Medicaid funding that goes to hospitals that provide transition care to children under 18 years old or 19 years old. And so the whole thing was these hospitals were going to capitulate because we understand capitalism. Yeah. If I don't have the money, I can't serve all of the other people. So understandably, and even parents of trans kids are like, well, this is bullshit, but they understand. So anyway, they had to open up. They had to open up their decisions to public comment, which, thank goodness, is some little form of democracy out there. And believe it or not, over 30,000. I mean, of course, over 30,000 public comments were there, but they derailed the process, and HHS actually backed down. Now, it doesn't mean that the hospitals are reinstituting their care, but it is good news of the week that Trump can be beaten. All of their nonsense can be beaten, and just leave the kids alone because they're going to be fine. Let the parents make the decisions.
That's what's I think sometimes so frustrating for me as eat the rich liberal is that like we have never had a more easy to defeat foe in our lives. This guy is a piece of fucking shit. He is
Yeah.
so easy to defeat.
But he's
the
like
fact that
really,
we can't.
he's lightweight, thin shit that can just blow over in the wind. But
He's diarrhea.
He's
diarrhea lettuce.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I need to lose a quick few. I might go out and buy some diarrhea lettuce.
Sounds good. But you know who looks like they might have been eating a bit of diarrhea lettuce because they are fine?
So hot.
Our DILF of the week. So the World
Say his
Cup,
name. Say his name.
The World Cup has just ended, actually. And this is not a player in the World Cup. But as I was looking around for like, who could our DILF of the week be? Still a soccer player who is a dad. And this is who came up first, who is not actually on a team that is playing in the World Cup, but he is hot and he is a dad. And his name is Maduka Okoye.
Oh, God damn it. You got it good. I was hoping you'd... Yeah.
And he is a Nigerian soccer player and he has a son and he is fine.
He is fine. Like if you were like, oh yeah, this guy is a model for, insert like Hermes or Gucci or whatever. Like you're like, oh yeah, I get it. And then you're like, oh, just put a soccer uniform on him. Yeah, he's fucking hot.
Super fine. So what little bit of research, and of course this is nothing but superficiality. I mean, basically I looked at the headline and the pictures, so I know nothing about this guy, kind of like when I put Cristiano Ronaldo up here and he's a MAGA Trump supporter. So come at me, Gaytriarchs out there, listener, if you think that Maduka Okoye is not worthy of being our DILF of the week, but for now, he's a soccer player. He seems to be doing good in the world. He's a dad. But David, why is he our DILF of the week?
Because he's hot.
Speaking of really hot shit, you know what's not hot?
Wow.
Our top 3 list.
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
So this is my week, and even though it seemed like I was thinking of it on the fly last time we recorded, I really hadn't. I had just forgotten it because of my early onset Alzheimer's. So this week is the top 3 insults. I know there's a lot of ways to go about this, right? But I actually thought about it in terms of the ways that my children have insulted each other over the past couple of years. Number 3... Number 3 for me. Okay, number 3 for me is my son. When I said to him, I need you to actually go sit in your daughter's lacrosse practice because we couldn't have him with us or something. So he just need to sit through something and basically spend time with his sister. And he said, I would rather lick a toilet. Now, he is stealing that from Home Alone, but it doesn't matter because he came up with it on his own, so to speak, in the moment. And him saying, I would rather lick a toilet than spend time with my sister is just a great insult.
Yeah.
Number 2, my son has a heart murmur. Not anything we need to worry about, but he was born with it, something we have to monitor. And then my daughter recently, we were in a pool with her and she had not shaved her armpits recently. It wasn't a big deal, but it was just like noticeable. So she started to take the piss out of him and she actually started calling him Murmur and just like really getting at him by calling him, hey Murmur, are you sure you can deal with being in the pool, Murmur? And what he did in response was he stared her dead in the eye, lifted his arm and just started going bzzz. So now they go back and forth with murmur and bzz, and we all know what it means, and it's luckily hilarious, but also quite the insult.
I love when somebody will go for like a medical issue with you. When they'll somebody be like, "Hey, cancer boy," and you're like, "Whoa, that's harsh."
Exactly. And I thought that the murmur was quite the insult. That was not cool, but then it ended up being really funny. And then finally, my daughter likes to sing a lot, like to the degree that we have to say to her, "Can you just give us a break from the singing?"
No.
But years ago, like when he was three-ish, my son gave my number 1 insult, which was him turning to her and saying, "Alexa, volume off."
That's great. I love that all of your favorite insults come from your children to each other. Do you know what I mean? Instead of like insults to you.
I'm waiting for you to insult me though here.
No, I really should. I should have thought of like the top 3 insults for Gavin. But for some reason, when you came up with that category, definitely prepared. My first thought was this quote from this movie. And then I went, wait, some of my favorite insults are from movies. So here are my top 3 insults from movies. In number 3 from Footloose, when Ren McCormick is staring down Willard Hewitt and he says, "Do they sell men's clothes where you got that hat?" I just love that. It's just clever. I love it. It's a little anti-trans. It's a little like, yeah, I love it. Love it.
Just the right amount of
Yeah,
wrong.
totally. In number 2, from one of the best, most quotable movies of all time, Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar.
Okay.
Miss Chichi Rodriguez yelling says, "I didn't ask to come on this trip, did I? No, I don't think so. Did I ask for you to be making me over, jump through all kind of hoops like some kind of circus poodle? No, I don't think so. And do I want to go to jail because of some cop killer? No, I don't think so. So as soon as we get to the next town, I'm jumping on the first man and I'm riding him all the way to New York City and away from you two bucket up and stuck up putos because this trip sucks. It sucks." So that's my second favorite insult.
That was John Leguizamo, right?
That was John Leguizamo, yeah. And number one of the best quotes from any movie, Billy Madison, or good early to mid 90s movie. He says, "What you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber from having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul." I fucking love that.
That's good.
Okay, next week, let's keep the summer vibes going, and let's list what are our top 3 fruits.
So, David, today's guest is a Los Angeles TV journalist. I mean,
Ooh.
I know we're punching above our weight once again. She's basically been an entrepreneur. I don't know that she called herself that, but she's an author of multiple parenting books, a vlogger before vlogging was a thing. Do you think vlogging is a thing? It's a
No. That's very MTV 2006. Yeah.
She's always willing to remind us, though, that raising teenagers is very difficult. She was also Dr. Phil's go-to for all things parenting, which means that we Gaytriarchs and listener are only 2 degrees of separation from Oprah. A warm welcome to Donna Tetreault. Thank you for joining us today, Donna.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're thrilled. Okay, so tell us, how have your kids driven you bonkers already today?
Well, it was last night at 1 a.m. The
Oh.
18-year-old texted me and said, "I forgot my key," because we just sold his car because he's going off to college in 4 weeks. And so he's out having a grand time, texts and says, "I forgot my key. Can you unlock the kitchen door?"
Nope.
And
Sorry.
then about 2 minutes later, "Actually, never mind. I'm not coming home. I'm going to sleep over somebody's house." And then 2 minutes later, "Actually, no, can you just leave the key under the mat just in case?"
No.
So, yes.
No, I'm not going to
I
get
know.
murdered because you can't decide if you want to come back or not. Sorry. Sorry about that. It's funny. You and I were both up at 1 a.m. last night. My daughter woke me up because she peed the bed. And I'm like, okay. But then she came up and she goes, "There's water in my bed." I said, okay. And I walked in, I thought maybe she spilled her water. And it's clear her whole outfit was wet. She was wet. And I said, "Oh, did you pee the bed?" And she was like, "No." I said, "It's okay, honey, if you peed the bed. Well, we'll just change we'll change everything." She goes, "I didn't pee the bed." And now we're arguing about whether or not my daughter, who clearly peed the bed last night, peed the bed. So anyway, yes. So it doesn't end, basically. The annoyances at 1 a.m. never end, is what you're telling me.
They never end. And there's
Okay.
scary factors that come later.
So, Donna, you were a TV journalist, or are a TV journalist in Los Angeles, which, I mean, come on, that's like, you're basically the Today Show in Los Angeles. What? Tell us about like your journalism, which then led to parenting journalism, which I'm sure is not the term you use.
No, it is actually. I have been a TV parenting journalist for a long time. I don't want to date myself, but yeah, over 20 years. And so I was a general assignment reporter for many years, started in, the small market, Midland, Texas, working my way up to Rochester, New York, which is like mid 70s. And I'm from Los Angeles, and I wanted to get back to LA. My mom was also suffering from Parkinson's. And I was like, I got to get home and I want to be in LA. And I just got super lucky and broke into the LA market because they were looking for an education reporter. And before I was a journalist, I was a teacher. And I knew Los Angeles Unified District. And so I was here without a job for 2 weeks, got super lucky and broke in to KCBS as an education reporter. And then I just was a general assignment reporter for many years, KCBS, CNN, KNBC. And then I had Jackson. And Jackson is now 18 years old. And I was working 12-hour days. And I thought, I want to be with my baby.
I was going to say, you were working 12-hour days as a new mom, let alone anything else.
Yeah.
So come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, it was kind of like one of those things where like, you just get help and that's what you do. But there was something in me that said, no, I really want to be at home. And so I quit KNBC. And I was home for probably 6 months with Jackson, got pregnant with Asher. They're back to back a year and 4 days apart. And I just knew I needed to still be me some way. Mm-hmm. But I also knew at the same time, I wanted to learn how to be the best parent that I could be. And I knew that I needed to learn a lot. And so I just kind of moved my journalism skill set into this parenting niche at the time, which now is 19 years ago because I, did it when Jackson was just a baby. And it's just been so much fun because I've talked to so many experts in the field and I've learned so much. And it's just been a cool journey.
So you're the perfect parent now, right?
Yeah. You do it all perfectly.
Yeah.
No mistakes, right?
No mistakes. I'm so perfect. No.
Great.
Of course.
I'm going to text Asher and Jackson real quick and just confirm that if that's cool. Yeah.
And the funniest thing is when they'll say to me, "Oh, and you're supposed to be the parenting expert." They give it to me. No, you might have the knowledge, but is it in practice every day? Absolutely not. No.
Right. No, of course not. But also,
yes.
I'm sure this is what you've kind of rounded this up to. And we discover this every day, especially having multiple kids, is there are some things that are like, great, this is perfect parenting knowledge. This is the perfect thing that fixed my kid. It fixed me. It fixed whatever. It will never work for parent B. It will never work for the second kid. It's always so different. And there's some universal things like, whatever. But in my experience, at least with my two kids who are just 2.5 years apart, I will figure something out that's so profound and so perfect for one kid, and I'll try it on the second kid. And the second kid will look me in the eye and say, "What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not going to bed. What are you talking about?" And so that I'm sure you have felt that too. Is there something, this is an impossible question to ask, so I'm going to ask it anyway. Is there something that you notice as a trend of like a common thing a lot of these parenting experts would come on and say? Like they were all kind of saying the same thing.
Yes. And in practice, it's so much harder to do. When a parenting expert will say to you, even when your kid is going off on you, and you're feeling all those emotions and that dysregulation yourself, and they're saying, just walk away. Don't take it so personally. That's okay. You're the adult in this. You need to model. I mean, I have said this on TV many, many times, and I'm telling you, you cannot do it in every minute of your parenting. And you will, in my world, sometimes I do go Sicilian, and I have to go Sicilian. I say to myself, and I'll tell my husband, all the experts say you can't yell. You're not supposed to yell. And I know you're not supposed to yell. And I get that. Mm-hmm. And I know from the developmental standpoint. But sometimes they need the Sicilian.
Yes.
And they get it.
They do. The kids need to know that you have limits and they have pushed your buttons and they learn from it. And hopefully they'll learn some good lessons. And then they'll continue to yell at their children, and then we're the problem. But
no, they need to know that tiger does live at the zoo. Even though you rarely see the tiger, it's always behind that weird little cave entrance, and you're like, where's the tiger? They just need to know the tiger does exist, and the tiger is there. Maybe he's not there all the time, but is definitely there. But you know what's so funny? When you were saying that, I was just fully relatable. I was like, I lose my fucking temper
in the moment. In the moment, PTSD, thinking, if I hear my partner once more say to me, "You're the adult," don't forget, Gavin.
Yes.
There will be violence. But anyway.
But I will say, one of the things I was thinking about was like, I lose my temper more than I wish I did. But one of my favorite things in the world, I don't know if you guys ever experienced this, is when you're in one of those situations where, for me, it's my 4-year-old. When my 4-year-old is she's out of her mind, and it normally triggers me to be angry and I yell or whatever. But something comes over me, some second wind comes over me, and I am as calm as a cucumber in a way to where I feel like a fucking Marvel superhero, where I'm standing over her red face and I'm just looking at her, be like, you can't hurt me right now. Like, I just feel like amazing. And it's rare, but man, do I love those moments, because she sees it. She's like, oh shit, I can't beat this one.
Right. That's awesome. That's so cool.
So Donna, the most consistent theme is often stay calm, walk away if you need to, be the adult. And that was the universal theme that you've been hearing for 20 years, huh?
100%. And in practice day to day, it's just not a possible thing to do. But I will say this. Then the next piece of advice is that I really do practice probably 99% of the time is the repair.
Yes.
To go then and say, I'm sorry, I effed up. Mm-hmm. I'm not a perfect person. You know I'm not. You know, though, that I'm trying my best. You know who I am. You know, Donna Mama. You know that I'm trying my best. And so I'm not perfect, but I'm sorry. And then we do the hugs, and then everything's okay. And we love each other, and we talk in our little baby voices, and it's okay.
It's so important.
I can't think of a single time. My mom was wonderful. I am not here to bash my mom at all. She was great. I can't think of a single time she ever apologized to me for getting angry with me.
But that's a generational thing.
It is, isn't it? Super generational.
Yeah, but like I when you said that, I was just like, oh yes, exactly. Because what we're actually doing in all of these scenarios we've talked about is we're trying to craft better humans to exist in the world in a way that's healthier and more sustainable or whatever. So whether it be like, I want you to regulate your emotions or whatever, but the repair, I think, is something that you and I, Gavin, did not get from our parents, but we know is a very valuable skill, because we know that they are never going to go through life without losing their cool, without making errors. And so we want them to learn that making errors is not the end all be all. It doesn't affect you. What affects you is that you repair it and you move on. And we didn't have that, obviously, from our parents, but we hope that we can, fix that a little bit.
Yeah, and that wasn't the educational piece that our parents had. It was just a different generation. And so I think that just doing the best that we can, our kids knowing that we're doing the best that we can, and they see that. And then they also see that, they can have those crazy emotions too, and that the love is still going to be there. Mm-hmm. The unconditional love is always going to be there.
Well, along the lines of fake news and spreading misinformation,
yes, I love to do that.
Did you ever impart knowledge over the span of your career that some expert told you X, but then it turns out that it was actually bunk information and you had to go back on it, or trends that have reversed themselves in your time?
Well, yeah, that's such a good question. And I think that the gentle parenting theme that has been out there has gone to another level and way too far. You still have to have that authoritative piece of your parenting. And yes, be gentle, let them feel their emotions, but not to the point where you're out on playground and child is raging on another child, and that's okay because they're just feeling their emotions. That's where gentle parenting has gone way off. Uh-huh. And I also think that it's bleeding into this estrangement epidemic that is, you're seeing with these emerging adults who are saying, I can do whatever I want. I can feel however I want. And if you don't like it, that's too bad. And too bad, I'm going to estrange from you for that. Yeah. So no, I think that that's an issue.
having to push through tough stuff and build up some resilience in the course of friction, which I feel like in bulldozering times or in soft parenting time, like you got to toughen up your kids too for a real world.
But maybe some of what is left over from the kind of like, as the waters recede from the gentle parenting, what's hopefully left is like a reduction of shame and being a little more open to like hearing. So like we are left with some of the big, great parts of gentle parenting, but we can still yell at our kids sometimes when we want to.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the authoritative parent is supposed to be a gentle parent as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can still hold structure and expectations and be gentle. So there was that, it's just a leaning way too far to the gentle without the expectations. And so again, I love to say in parenting, moderation, people, moderation, not so extreme either way.
Yeah.
That, especially when you're raising boys, I would imagine it's almost like you're helping avoid toxic masculinity, which is just barbaric screaming, which gets nowhere. And that actually true strength can come from gentleness, actually.
100%.
So your first book, I realize we'll talk in a minute about your upcoming book, Adolescence, but your first book was called The Castle Method. Can you tell us a little bit about that method that you published and I'm assuming developed?
Yeah. So, after interviewing literally hundreds of experts, doctors, researchers, psychologists, educators, all kinds of people, there were themes that kept coming up in parenting that made a lot of sense to me. And so I wanted an evidence-based parenting book to still use my journalistic skill set and not just hand out information, that wasn't evidence-based. And the themes that kept coming up were part of the Castle method. So the Castle method CASTLE is an acronym used as a metaphor to build the castle or the family, the best version of your family, not the perfect version, but the best unique version of your family. And so CASTLE is compassion, and compassion not only for child, but compassion for parent self, acceptance, security, emotional security, trust, love, and expectations. And so all of these pieces were part of what I believe is to build that family foundation, because we're going to have compassion for each other, not just for, that's where like you're going to go Sicilian if you don't see me too. I'm a human being too. So that's kind of where that came from.
Do you ever, like, when you're creating something, this is what I always think about when I see somebody have an acronym like this. I'm like, did you like come up with something and you're like, oh, these letters almost spell a word, and you're like, it's casta. Maybe I just need to add an L and an E, and I can really like. Do you like? I feel like that's what like mostly happens, because some of the times the acronym is too perfect, and I'm like, you added expectation. Like, did you add expectation? Sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Yeah.
No. It's so funny because CASTLE is really compassion, acceptance, security, trust, love, expectations, plus education. So I had to add an extra E, actually. but I don't do the plus all the time. But yeah, the education. Okay. So yeah, no, I just, I like metaphors and I like alliteration. I was an English major. So that kind of stuff, it was just kind of fun. Yeah.
Okay, so you are no stranger to TV, as am I, and you were Dr. Phil's go-to person, which I'm obsessed with. Dr. Phil had such a moment in the early 2000s where it reminded me of like the Chicken Soup for the Soul of the 90s, where it was just like the most prevalent thing it was just like he was so hot on TV. Tell us a little bit about your experience about being associated with, at the time, one of, if not the top kind of daytime show. And then also, how do we feel about him now?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah, I did. So I used to watch Dr. Phil with my mama before I was, just watching him and Oprah, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, loved him. I mean, best. Oprah, that was like appointment TV, right?
Yeah.
But when I started going into this parenting niche, I have this best friend in the world, Brad Bessie. He was the executive producer of Entertainment Tonight and The Insider. He's a brilliant executive producer. And he worked with the executive producer, Carla Pennington, who was the executive producer for Dr. Phil for all those years. And really, Brad had championed my parenting path. He and his husband, Frank, had adopted a son, Gabriel, who was in the same kindergarten class as my son, Jackson. And so we just kind of grew up together, parenting together, being together, and he championed this. And he was always trying to like just say, you know, you'll go national one day. You will. You're doing your LA thing, but you'll go national. And one day he called me up and he said, well, guess what, Donna? I got a call from Carla Pennington and they need a parenting expert on Dr. Phil tomorrow because a psychologist had to drop out because of some emergency. And I said, but Brad, I'm not a psychologist. And he's like, you're a parenting journalist and you can do this. And I said, okay. So I go. Well, I don't go. The producers start calling me immediately. I mean, the length of what they do to put a show on and to make sure that when you get on, you are prepared. You're going to know what the questions are. You're going to know how Dr. Phil is going to go back and forth with you. And I mean, the preparation, I was like, this is freaking amazing. I mean, because even LATV, kind of running at the seat of your pants sometimes. I mean, this was just like insane. So I show up and get my makeup done. I get a new dress. I get my own dressing room. And we're on there and we're talking about, now that I'm thinking about it, it was an episode of couples who were not co-parenting the proper way. And so we were just kind of going through this whole thing. And I was on with two other experts. So I thought to myself afterwards, wow, bucket list. This is amazing. I'll never do this again. This is amazing. I go and have drinks with my husband and we're celebrating and just thinking, oh, I can't wait for this to air. Go to sleep. The boys are young at this point. They're in like elementary school. I wake up to an email. At the top, the email, I can see what it says. It says, Donna, Dr. Phil here. And I was like, what? And I said, okay, I can't even look at this email. I'm not going to even read it. I'm not going to open it. I'm going to get these kids off to school so I can enjoy this in peace. Mm-hmm. So I drive them to school, get them to school. I then get to my desk. I open up the email and it's from Dr. Phil. And it's like, Donna, Dr. Phil here, you were amazing yesterday. You are probably one of the best parenting experts I've ever had on the show. We need to have you back on again, blah, 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 blah. And then they booked me like 2 days later for another show.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, this is amazing. It was so much fun. And then I got to have this run with him. He then actually wrote the foreword to the Castle Method.
Wow.
And he was a huge supporter of me and just very much what he said he really liked about me is he said he felt like you're able to take the research and then kind of just dispel it and give it to people and in a real way, not like in a way like you must do this. If you don't do this, then you will not be a good parent.
But that was like the cornerstone, I feel like, because of his show was he was trying to take big kind of heady concepts and make it for like the quote unquote common man. Also, was his email address like drphil69@hotmail.com? Like what is the email address of Dr. Phil look like?
I mean, it's like DPM. It's and da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the heck? I mean, it was kind of like awesome. A crazy thing.
David,
it was fun.
David, do you want to ask Donna if she felt the same thrill when I reached out to her that she felt when she got the email? Should I
ask this her Gavin that? Lodge from GaytriarchsPodcast reaching out to me? Delete, block sender, report spam.
So
No.
Donna, bringing it into the present day, I just please tell me that you have the silver bullet for how to raise teens in the era of social media and phones and AI. Please make it worth our while, please.
No, so sorry. I don't have it.
God. Worthless.
That is
Dr.
why.
Phil, what were you thinking?
I know. I mean, listen, for me personally, as a mom, I sometimes have to really pull myself back from the parent who is fearful. Like,
Mhm.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid of fentanyl. I'm afraid of car crashes. I'm afraid of egregious errors that cannot be made up. So I just think that in this day and age, raising teens, it's like you're just like, it's like whack-a-mole. Like, I got to make sure that this doesn't happen, this doesn't happen, this doesn't happen. And one of the most important things I like to tell parents now, you're going to make so many mistakes with teenagers, just very different from the young ones, but presence, you got to be there. You think that when the teenagers, they're okay, yeah, I can back off a little bit. No, you got to even be there more with the teenagers than you do with those little tinies. So yeah, it's a work in progress all the way through.
So is that how your upcoming book, Adolescence, is focusing on some of that needing to be present and also whack-a-mole, and also just parents, just buckle up and do your best, because let the Sicilian out just a little bit, but really just buckle up.
I'm telling you, Adolescence, and the way it's spelled is SENSE, making sense of the most intense brain on the planet, is that adolescent brain that's 15 years in development. When they say don't take it personally, how can you not? This is the person you've poured everything into, and you have your own feelings. And so, yeah, take it personally, but then you got to figure out a way how to then move past it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that the other piece of Adolescence, the book, is I'm, asking a lot from Dr. Adriana Galvan, who is a UCLA neuroscientist who has been studying the brain of the teenage brain for the last 20 years. And that research is fairly new. And she talks a lot about how when you understand the neuroscience of that brain, how then you can parent better. And I can see it. I see it. I see it, how she's presenting the research, and then how you can then parent through that. So to me, as I've gone through my parenting process, I'm learning for myself, but I'm also just kind of disseminating this information, and take it or leave it for how you want, adopt it for how you want. But here's some info, guys. Here's some real evidence-based info.
And when do we get to all clamor to get our copies of Adolescence? It's coming out in the coming months, right?
No, it's gonna come out in about a year, because I'm still writing, I'm still researching. But yeah, it's coming. I'm doing segments for Adolescence on KCBS LA, and I'm kind of putting that platform out there. And it's getting some good traction, because people are really interested in how that adolescent time affects us too. So much.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to have you back on when your book comes out, so we can kind of republicize, but also I'm going to have many questions. I was just thinking, when you were talking about not taking it personally, I have a 4 and 6-year-old. I take everything personally, and they are literal children. They're baby monsters. I don't know how I'm going to survive an adult body making me feel bad about myself, but that is another day for another conversation.
If you're lucky, David, you'll have teenagers like mine who say, "Dad, it isn't all about you. And I did hear that this morning. I heard it this morning. Dad, it's not all about you, or Dad, it's not that deep, or Dad, you've got to stop taking things personally.
So Dad starts a podcast so we can talk about things.
I just need to listen to my children literally telling me better parenting skills.
Okay.
Obviously.
Well, we're going to have you back on, but I want to, before we have to let you go, because we're running out of time, I do want to ask you our favorite question, which is, tell us a parenting horror story from back in the day where you earned your parenting merit badge and everything went wrong.
I mean, there was this time that we were traveling and they were super, super young. And you know the fears of when you're traveling and you don't want to have that baby that's screaming and annoying everybody. And it was just a disaster. We decided when they were 2 and 3, let's take them on an Alaskan cruise because they'll remember it.
Yeah.
And every stop of the cruise, there was something. Whether it was the flight there, the screaming and being yelled at by teenagers who wanted our child to shut up, from then Asher banging his head and spilling out blood on a bus when we went to go look at the butterflies in Alaska, and having to have the ship's doctor basically glue his head back together while they were all in their tuxes and gowns because it was a gala. And then on the way, toward another piece of the Alaska trip, we were on the ship, and then Jackson decided to projectile vomit on the entire table.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was not a fun trip. And we're those parents who love traveling with kids, and we're like, oh no, we're not going to miss out. We're going to keep traveling and doing our thing and going everywhere around the world. Well, yeah, so that's just
we all think that.
Yeah.
You get home and you think, you know what? The Olive Garden down the street seems like just as much exoticism as we need for the next 10 years.
I mean, we used to go to Bob's Discount Furniture for like an hour or two, honestly, because it was a safe place for my toddlers to run around and play and destroy things because everything was a couch and they had ice cream in the back. And I make no apologies, but every parent in the world does exactly what you did. It was like, the baby is going to come with us. Our life's not going to stop. We're still going to go to Rome. We're still going to hang out with our friends. It's so true. It's the only way more parents keep getting made is that way.
Yes.
And I just love. Also, by the way, teenagers from your story or everyone on a plane, we also don't want our kid to be screaming. We are not doing this on purpose. We also are annoyed by them. You don't need to let us know. We are as miserable, if not more miserable than you are.
Thanks for that. They're all listening to this, luckily, so that PSA will be very effective.
Yes.
Donna, you have been a complete delight. We really do hope that you will come back on and hurry up with that book because Daddy needs some answers, okay? Daddy needs help so that he will stop making it all about himself. But thank you for demeaning yourself by being on our stupid little podcast. It's been a total pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
So my something great this week is an app that I'm almost positive has been my something great before, but I was using it yesterday and I was like, this is just something great. I need to bring this up with our listener because I really need them to do it. If you like baking or cooking at all and you keep recipes via either cards in a box or you keep them on your phone or whatever, there is an app called Recipe Box, which I'm obsessed with for two reasons. One, it neatly kind of contains all of your recipes, which is really handy. But two, the way you import them. All you literally do is when you have a web page open, you just click like the link, the button to share it. And then one of the options will be save to Recipe Box. And you click in and it automatically downloads the directions on one side of the app.
Oh, nice.
And then the ingredients on the other side. You do literally nothing. And then when you open up Recipe Box, it's there and it's got all the bullshit away, right? All the, I grew up with my nana in 18th century France, and you're just like,
with
I don't
the
care about
keywords.
You're
and
like, stop
her
it.
famous truffle brownies, and the truffle brownies are,
and you're like, this is a spaghetti carbonara recipe.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Come on.
So anyway, Recipe Box, it's free. It's wonderful. I love it.
Do they do anything for making grocery lists? That's what my thing is
Probably.
like needing to transfer the list of stuff. And also I might have some of the things. And I think that there's ways of making that grocery list, but I have my own grocery. Anyway. All right. Well, it's not my something great until they do something about the grocery list. So can you go work on that, please?
Mm-hmm.
My something great this week is previous Gaytriarchs guest realtor Caitlin. Remember her?
Love her.
She is so funny. And she is doing some really activist stuff. She's helping get a guy into Congress who would be a Democrat running from Salt Lake City. And she is so entertaining and she's so funny. Anyway, people don't know that when you're going to be a guest out here, listener, we are going to send you a thank you card that has a sticker in it, a Gaytriarch sticker. And I have had Caitlin's thank you card sitting in front of my desk for months now because she was on here months ago. And I was pretty sure she gave me her address and then I couldn't find it. So anyway, I texted her just the other day to say, hey, this is really stupid, and I know it means nothing anymore, but it's just a thank you card. Can I get your address? And she wrote, and I said, like, I've been losing sleep over this, LOL, embarrassed to ask you for your mailing address because I'm fairly certain I already have it, blah, 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 blah. Her response was, I can give you my mailing address, but also, aren't all your sins washed away each June? Isn't that what the parade is for? And I just love just the right amount of shade. Everybody go follow Realtor Caitlin because she is something great. And that's our show. If you have any comments, suggestions, or general compliments, you can email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at David FM Vaughn everywhere, and Gavin is at Gavin Lodge on I Was in Spain.
Please leave us a glowing 5-star review wherever you get your podcast.
Thanks, and we'll insult you next time on another episode of Gaytriarchs.